egg quality is impacted by the foods that we eat and nutrition that we do and do not get. Studies have demonstrated that dietary improvements and specific lifestyle enhancements can improve fertility outcomes by up to 69% in certain populations. We found this in the Nurses' Health Study, which found significant benefits for women who follow a specific fertility diet. Today, I'm going to walk you through one of my meal plans that I just made for one of my fertility clients. I will also share with you the benefits of having a customized meal plan made for you based on the fertility diet, how the Mediterranean diet helps reduce inflammation, how certain health conditions such as endometriosis can do better without dairy or gluten, and I'll give you information on how to get a personalized health plan made by me. If you're interested, check the comments. And stay until the end where I'll share with you 3 tips for managing inflammatory responses, how to identify them, what to look for. I will be keeping my clients' information safe and private, and I will be showing you how I pick out specific fertility foods for her and her husband. Everyone's personal and medical health history is unique, therefore it's best to get customized care so you can leave no stone unturned. Meal plans do not have to be complicated or blah. This particular client is 37 years old. She has endometriosis and has been trying to conceive for over 8 years now. Unfortunately, she also experienced 2 miscarriages. This is common for me to have women and their partners reach out to me after having several failed attempts to get pregnant or experiencing loss, whether they're trying to get pregnant naturally or they're using IVF or other procedures and medications. I have full compassion and understanding for you if you can relate to this story. On top of the waiting and trying to conceive, there's so much mixed information and online opinions that it feels so overwhelming and so defeating. This is what I hear all the time from my clients. Many women come to me as a last-ditch effort because they're told by their doctors that there's nothing else that will work for them, and this is absolutely not true. Thankfully, you found me, and I hope this will give you some encouragement that there's a lot that you can do to improve your overall fertility health and egg quality. After talking about this specific client's medical diagnosis and going over her overall health, her menstrual cycle health, her period information, her symptoms that she currently has, and also symptoms and maybe past diagnoses that she had, all of this has helped me to assign her a specific pattern diagnosis according to traditional Chinese medicine. That's my initial background and training. She showed specific symptoms like bloating, gas, discomfort that worsened, all of her GI symptoms, especially during her periods or leading up to the period. Stress, some anxiety. Her sleep was pretty terrible. Her words and her tongue, when she shared pictures with me, were showing vacuities or deficiencies with blood flow and oxygen circulation. But what that means is her tongue, and I'll show you a photo here, but her tongue is swollen, it's pale, it's damp looking. It's also got teeth marks all around the edges. So that's pretty common, and that just means the tongue is swollen, it's resting on the teeth, it lacks muscle tone, and that can show us a deficiency. Her tongue also showed blood stasis that was showing up more underneath. That is shown when there's more purpley veins under there, and that can be representative, in her case, of her diagnosis of endometriosis. So even looking over her food diary that I asked her to keep for a few days, this gave me great insight on how to help improve not only her egg quality, but how to decrease inflammation and improve her gut health and her gut biome, which in turn will improve her womb biome. Does that make sense? When I created a personalized meal plan, I matched all the information that I gathered in our first meeting together, and I added in eliminating specific triggering foods that she mentioned, but also that I have based on research, that's foods that are inflammatory for women that have endometriosis. I also match her with an element focused on traditional Chinese medicine. I won't go deep into it in this video, but if you want to learn more, just drop a comment and I can go deeper into it. But we've got wood element, fire, earth, metal, and water. All those elements have specific foods that are beneficial to eat, and also really important foods to avoid if you have a deficiency or an excess within those elements. I also got a list from her and her husband, and basically it's a questionnaire to ask which types of foods or which allergies they have, which types of foods they love, which types of foods they don't enjoy at all. Taco Tuesday was popular, Mexican food, Asian foods. There are, of course, overall fertility foods that benefit most women and men, but some of these foods can wreak havoc for many women, such as broccoli, cauliflower. For some people, it's bell peppers or tomatoes or eggplant, just to name a few. There's a huge list. So for this example, it's nightshades and cruciferous foods. These can be painfully inflammatory. Endometriosis. Let's talk about that because I have to factor this into this woman's meal plan. Endometriosis affects approximately 10% of women worldwide. That is 1 in 10. I've talked about this in other videos. It can take some women 8 or 9 years to get diagnosed, and then they still get blown off by the system. Why does it take that long? This condition can make trying to conceive more complicated due to its inflammatory nature. But why is inflammation such a crucial factor? Well, it disrupts not only your womb's environment, but also the gut biome and your gut health. And that impacts your body's ability to sustain a pregnancy. Remember I said in this case, this client had 2 miscarriages. This could be the connection there. The gut is the body's center for managing inflammation. When it's out of balance, the resulting inflammation can interfere with hormone levels, egg quality, overall fertility health, just to name a couple things. Therefore, a diet that heals the gut also helps heal the body and prepares the body for conception. Our goal is to not just get pregnant, but also to experience a healthy pregnancy and deliver a beautiful, healthy baby. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Gina Terinoni. I'm a board-certified doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. That's my first love. I'm also a certified women's healthcare practitioner in integrative medicine. So I understand both. I integrate 2,000-plus-year-old medical practices with the latest scientific research. In the past 23-plus years, I've helped over 2,000 women and men to become pregnant and have healthy babies. Please subscribe to my channel so I know you want more of these videos. And feel free to post a question or a comment below, and I will answer personally. Let's look at the meal plan I designed to address this particular client's needs. A 1-month meal plan means specific fertility foods and recipes with a week-by-week grocery list. It makes it really convenient. You don't have to think about it. It's roughly 70 to 80 recipes for her and her husband. They aren't huge fans of cooking. They don't like to cook meals. Totally get that. They're super busy. So I focused on dinners being under 10 to 15 minutes for prep. Cooking time can take a little bit longer, but that's not the big deal. It's the prep. You can get a sample 3-day fertility meal plan that I put together by commenting meals 1, 2, 3 below. I'll send that over to you, no problem. What I want to do specifically with this client is help her heal her gut and help her reduce overall inflammation. That's triggered by a number of things like eggplant, potatoes, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, onions, garlic, corn. That's just some of it. In addition, she mentioned certain foods that she and her husband don't want to eat and do not like, such as quinoa or triggered by quinoa, but also not interested in eating organ meats and pork. You don't have to. We've got other options. Let's start with breakfast foods. Now, I'm sharing what is helpful, and I'm also highlighting what is possibly viewed as healthy for many people, but in this case, it's most likely keeping this client in a constant inflamed state, and it's weakening her digestion. And having a weakened digestion system means that nutrients from foods are not getting absorbed properly. And on top of that, there's no way that having that status with a gut biome is able to take supplements on top of it and feel good and actually absorb the nutrients. We have to decrease overall inflammation, heal her gut, improve egg quality, optimize womb health, and allow receptivity of the sperm. And also we're going to help sperm health too. So breakfast. I can say eggs are a very strong fertility food. And this is like a quick side story. One of my favorite teachers in traditional Chinese medical school. He would give cute stories and scenarios, and I have very good visuals of him running around going egg to egg, egg to egg. So if you're trying to get pregnant, eat eggs. And there's many others, but I just love picturing Dr. Jeffrey running around egg to eggs. In this case, for this client, not just eating eggs, but it's even more important how she will cook her eggs. So I recommend to have poached eggs most times. This preparation is by far the most digestible form. Now, not everybody has to do that, but with poached eggs, she can have a side of ginger tea. That also warms up the digestion before shooting down the food. And also she can add in steamed greens. We're going to do a little trial with those. You can add in green beans or try chopped up kale that's steamed with a gluten-free slice of toast for breakfast. There's other things too. But ginger and turmeric are wonderful for blood circulation and also help decrease inflammation. So win-win. We start with other breakfast options like paleo sweet potato porridge. This comforting meal isn't just nutritious, but it's therapeutic. Sweet potatoes are rich in beta-carotene, which helps balance hormone levels, while coconut milk provides healthy fats that support your body's anti-inflammatory processes. Sweet potatoes are particularly helpful to rebuild the digestive system, and they are color of the earth. So we're talking again about earth element in traditional Chinese medicine. It's one of the elements that's strong for digestion. For this particular client, we're avoiding dairy and gluten products. Now, 100% women with celiac disease cannot tolerate gluten. And I see with my clients the same who have endometriosis. Also with dairy products. So if it were me, I'd go all in. I have my clients track energy levels, sleep quality, stress levels, digestion, all the things for at least 3 to 4 weeks so we know if they're responding or if they're reacting to specific foods. We don't want to be super restrictive if we don't have to. But she's been trying to conceive for over 8 years. She's 100% willing to dial in her diet. And we also need to look at this big red flag. Cooked foods are crucial for improving the gut biome. And one major red flag that I came across in her food diary was that she was having cold smoothies every morning for breakfast. And on top of it, salads for lunch. This is very common as we are inundated with marketing telling us these things are healthy. For some people, maybe they are. But for most people over 30, 35, 40, 45, they cannot tolerate all the hard work the digestive system has to do to warm the foods up first, then break them down into nutrients, and then transport them throughout the rest of the body. If you have questions on that, let me know below. I'm happy to talk about it. For lunch, we're going to look at steamed kale or another steamed vegetable and a tuna salad. So yes, we still can have a salad that's steamed or cooked. Kale is a superfood known for its detoxifying properties. It helps reduce inflammation. It supports liver function. Liver stores the blood. This is essential for hormone balance. Adding omega-3 rich tuna not only boosts your intake of anti-inflammatory fatty acids, but it also can enhance egg quality. Another option for lunch is warm chicken, steamed vegetables in a thermos. If you do rice, brown rice, then add that in too. Put some coconut aminos on top, mix that all together. She works outside of the home, so I said get a cute thermos, heat up some leftovers from the night before. Stews are also really great, and so are soups. There's plenty of options. And then we get to dinner. I'm always going to say wild-caught salmon, twice a week with vegetables. Again, the carb or the side of that could be if you can eat quinoa, you can have quinoa, you can have brown rice, but there's other options if you don't have sensitivities to those types of food. But there's a really good recipe, cedar plank salmon with grilled asparagus. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite. It's not just delicious, but it's a strategic choice in this particular client's fertility diet. Salmon is packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are really important to reduce inflammation, and they also improve both egg quality and sperm quality. Asparagus offers folate, which is vital for reproductive health and helps to reduce birth defects, according to research. Snacks play a vital role too, but I find if you eat really healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe you just have an afternoon snack when you get home for work or right before you're cooking dinner. That should be enough. And I have videos on that as well, on intermittent fasting specific for fertility. So if you want more of that information, let me know and I can tag you in the video. We always want to have proteins in the snacks. So we don't want to just have chips or just have a muffin. Add some protein to it, like nuts or something like that. So you can have gluten-free crackers with hummus, cooked carrots, not raw. Because remember, for this client, she's got a lot of digestive symptoms. We don't want to add to that problem. You can add in a little bit of guacamole. Make sure that goes well too. Foods like this provide a burst of fiber, healthy fats. They also help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce inflammation. Also, you can just look at having a handful of nuts, pistachios, cashews, walnuts, almonds. They're all excellent sources of protein and magnesium, and they support muscle and nerve function while lowering stress. Okay, I didn't forget, Taco Tuesday. I have a specific recipe in there for her. But we can avoid the traditional ingredients of red meats, iceberg lettuce, not really getting a whole lot of nutrients with that lettuce. And we also want to focus on easier to digest foods and lower inflammatory foods. So we would replace the red meat with ground turkey or chicken, or some people like to do tofu. There's tempeh. If you have an issue with soy, obviously leave those out. But you can also grill the vegetables. Don't have raw vegetables. Grill up whatever you can eat. I just went through the whole list. I don't want to go through it again for you and bore you. Also, you can wrap it up with gluten-free tortillas. And there's other ways to get crunchies in there too that aren't full of gluten. And then we're going to mention blueberries or strawberries, but they have to be organic. They got the little crevices, so if they're sprayed with pesticides, you're getting them. Even soaking them is hard. Well, you can add in desserts like blueberries, or there's really great big cheesecakes kind of a thing. There's other baked ingredients that help with muffins for snacks and desserts. You can also have baked apples. You can have baked apples with ginger, with cinnamon, with vanilla. If you're okay with it, you can have a different form, or you can have whole milk yogurt, or you can do some of the cashew yogurts are delicious. Just make sure to look at the sugar levels. It's always good to go plain yogurt and then add in your own fruit. But in this case, we're doing cooked or just quick sauteed fruits like blueberries or apples could be baked, or they could be sauteed really quick. So that makes them easier to digest. You have so many options. This diet plan doesn't just focus on what you eat, but it includes traditional wisdom from Chinese medicine to complement your nutritional intake. The secret to this fertility diet really lies in the synergy and how we're combining and connecting everything. So the combination of anti-inflammatory foods, gut healing ingredients, and time-honored holistic meals that are not processed. We're not eating raw foods. We're not eating fried foods or greasy, heavy foods. Dampening foods in the body make us heavy, digestive issues. We also want to focus on not eating foods that were sprayed with pesticides or foods injected with hormones and antibiotics. All of these are hormone disruptors, so we want to avoid those. I go into this a lot more, or several of the other videos. This offers a powerful approach to managing endometriosis and boosting fertility at the same time. It's about creating a fertile ground, literally, where your body can thrive and sustain a new life. The fertility diet is more than a meal plan. It's a comprehensive strategy to empower your body, and it really gives you control of your fertility journey. And that's what this is about. We're going back to holistic, more natural approaches. Again, whether it's 100% you want to get pregnant naturally, or if you want to combine holistic and natural medicine with using something like IVF, you integrate. This takes the stress out of the body emotionally, physically. So by focusing on reducing inflammation, enhancing gut health, and incorporating the wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine, you can transform your journey to getting pregnant. Don't forget, mention meals 1, 2, 3. You can get my sample 3-day fertility meal plan below. I also put a link there for you to learn more about getting a customized meal plan made by me. So look for that in the comments too. And now we're at the tips for managing inflammatory responses. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how your body responds to different foods and adjust your diet accordingly. You always want to write things down because sometimes we forget if we snuck in some chips here or we ate an apple. We're like, oh, it's raw food. So just write everything down and then that's what gives you feedback. You can analyze it or I can look at it for you. But it's really important to track things so we can see what are potential triggers specific to you. So moderation. If certain vegetables seem to cause issues, try reducing the portion size rather than eliminating them completely. So some things that we might think, oh, it really wrecked me. Maybe you ate too big of a serving, or maybe you just want like a half a cup or a quarter cup, like broccoli. Sometimes that can be super disruptive, but it's really high in nutrients. So maybe you have 1 or 2 pieces of it and make sure it's steamed. Don't eat it raw. There's so many things that you can do. You can eat proteins first and then some carb, then a vegetable. There's different strategies. There's also taking probiotics or adding in some digestives before you eat. There's so many ways to do it. So the other thing is cooking methods, right? So cooking can reduce the potential of the vegetables to cause inflammation or discomfort, like I was saying with the broccoli. So steaming, roasting, this can make everything easier on your system. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the bell to get notifications. You do not want to miss next week. My video is why your egg quality is not improving. I do some serious detective work in this video, and I will show you how to be your own detective.